welcome to another episode of Live Lessons in Bon Jovi songs. And it's 2026 and we're at New Jersey album. So this whole year, only songs from the New Jersey album. And it was originally scheduled to be a double album. So there's actually, twice the number of songs that ended up here, plus some more. So we still have a lot to do. But we are approaching the end of the of this series of songs that ended up on this album, and we're at number 10 today, and that is "I'll Be There for You." Now, "I'll Be There for You" is a staple song, or became a staple song. So that means that the recent tour, or the last tour that Bon Jovi did, I don't know, the last tour was only in the US, but the last world tour was, before the pandemic. And yeah, those were really, that was a tour that had "I'll Be There for You" in it. And, but that was really something that didn't really happen until much later. I have so the song is from 1988, which is the year that this album came out. What followed was the New Jersey Syndicate tour, and that is the tour where, "I'll Be There for You," even though it was the number one single at one point. No, maybe at that point they started playing it a little bit more. I don't know, but that tour, the New Jersey Syndicate tour, it was not a staple then. So I said I have a year for you. I hope that was true. Became a staple. It became a regular song from 2003 and upward. And for a very long time, 2003 to 2010, it was actually performed by Richie Sambora, who had a very deep love for the song. It was very personal to him too. It was actually very personal to both John as well as Richie Sambora. So it returned initially as a song that Richie Sambora would sing in a very bluesy kind of way. He really gave his own spin to it. And so that was 2003 to 2010. And after that, it just stayed on the set list. So "I'll Be There for You" is really, it kept being played, but it was actually more popular in the later tours than it was actually in the years following the album. So in 1988, the album was released in September. So it was written and created and produced in the first half of the year. And this was the time when John Bon Jovi and Dorothea Huxley were not yet married. And to John, it really struck that chord of um, really loving her, but realizing that he hasn't really appreciated her, that he has not really shown her how much he loves her, and that this is kind of like the song where he says, but when it matters, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, I will be there for you. So he describes this song as having that kind of like painful element to it, and he says, a good love song has to have that kind of like painful element to it in order for it to feel real. So that was so to John, it was very much tied to that last half year, or those final months of having to or of being in the process of writing this album, of looking back at the fantastic career that he had had up until then, and realizing, hey, wait a minute, where's the missus? So what they did is he asked her to marry him. They went to Las Vegas, and that's where they got married. And so that's why I have this photo here This was his wedding photo, but this is at home in New Jersey. But yeah, so they had kind of like a secret wedding. They just took off uh, to Las Vegas and got married there. So for him, it really is cannot it so for him it really is connected to his love for Dorothea, and she's still his wife to this day. Okay, other interesting aspects of this song is that it didn't just became staple; it became kind of like an anchor, very important anchor to the show. So it is the live version is actually even better than on the album, and there's a lot of sing along there, and yeah, it is just this really it is really the song that really brings the crowd together, or that brings the crowd and the band into unison. I would say it is, it's the diamond, it's the gem of every. I don't know if that is the right word, but it's really, it's the highlight of every show. I'll be there for you. Really, it's a song that matured so well, and that never lost its magic. So I'll do one video from 1989. So that's like, the heart of the New Jersey Syndicate Tour. And the best performance from that year from I'll Be There For You. I will put it here in the description box or in the blog if you're reading that. And it's definitely worth a watch. So then you can really get that feeling of I'll Be There For You. It was also the very first number one song that they had written without Desmond Child. So Desmond Child had been the songwriter who had really kind of like saved the day in 1986 when he was brought in, and he took the songs that Richie and John had already written, and together with the two of them, he sat down, and with the three of them, they really, you know, turned them into hits, turned the album into, this really big success. And although they would always keep working with Desmond Child, um, uh, the it was very important for them to now have that acknowledgement of, yes, the band and Richie and John together, we're very well capable of writing our own number one songs, and that was I'll Be There For You. So it really has that very special status for them, that in 1988 they found out, like, yes, in 1986 we got this huge success thanks to Desmond Child, but we're able to, to do it for ourselves as well. So that was really, yeah, what the story of I'll Be There For You. And this series is called Live Lessons in Bon Jovi Songs. And I'm always so busy with, this researching the song. I very rarely think of the live lesson beforehand. So yeah, now that we're here, what's the live lesson? Well, the live lesson is, first of all, that there's something very cool about these kind of like secret, just running off to Las Vegas kind of weddings. I mean, that's, everybody was angry with them when they came back. Like, how could you do that to us? How can we not have, a wedding as, meeting each other in with the families and everything like that. But it's kind of like romantic to do it that way, I think. So that's definitely a life lesson if you're considering getting married. Like, why not do it old school and just run off to Las Vegas? And they got married in the Whitechapel, I think, and that's linked to Elvis Presley, if I am correct. But yeah, so you can look it up where they got married, and maybe that is an option for you as well. Um, so that's definitely a life lesson. The fact that it was the first number one hit from Richie Sambora and John Bon Jovi without help of Desmond Child writing the song. Yeah, that's kind of like, that it's really cool to collaborate with other people, but it can be equally cool and satisfying to then realize, um, uh, but I can also do it myself. And you can also really theorize about the fact that maybe they actually became better songwriters through that process of having that, of collaborating frequently with Desmond Child. That if we take the time to sit together and collaborate, then we get better at it ourselves. So it's not just, oh, collaborate so that somebody else can do a good job, but collaborate so that you get better at that particular skill as well. So that could be a life lesson as well. And yeah, well, just the fact that the song aged so well, so actually got better over the years, that it was almost overlooked in the tour that followed the album, but that it just was expanded upon later on in later tours, and that it went through these eras, the era where Richie sang it and really gave his own spin to it, and and even the later eras where fans like me say, yeah, it could very well be the best song on the set list. So yeah, I think that's also really, really interesting, that that if something becomes more interesting over the years, that is kind of like a hallmark of, especially with art, a hallmark of it having a great quality, and not really being able to see through it right away, and that it takes its time to reveal itself. Okay, so that was it for today. I will be back in 2 weeks with the next episode, and that will be 99 in the shade. Okay, 99 in the shade. Yeah, yeah, in the shade. Singular, not plural. Okay, so see you in 2 weeks for 99 in the shade. Bye bye.